In 2014, Marvel Comics made headlines when one of its most unpredictable and chaotic characters, Deadpool, did something truly unexpected. He got married. But like most things involving the Merc with a mouth, this wasn't a conventional romance, and it certainly wasn't a conventional wedding. Today, we're diving deep into the story of Deadpool's marriage to Shiklah, the Demon Queen. Was it a failure? A forgotten milestone? Or perhaps something much more meta? Let's find out. To understand the significance of Deadpool's marriage, we first need to take a look at how it all began. In Deadpool, the Gauntlet, a digital-first series by Gary Duggan and Brian Posehn, Deadpool is hired by Dracula to transport a mysterious cargo across the globe. That cargo turns out to be Shiklah, an ancient demon queen destined to be Dracula's bride. But in typical Deadpool fashion, things don't go as planned. Shiklah isn't just any bride-to-be. She's fierce, powerful, and as it turns out, has more chemistry with Deadpool than she ever would with Dracula. Their relationship blossoms as they battle enemies, trade sarcastic quips, and bond over their shared love of chaos. By the end of the Gauntlet, Deadpool and Shiklah decide to tie the knot, marking one of the wildest romantic pairings in Marvel history. The wedding itself took place in Deadpool 27, written by Duggan and Posehn with art by Mike Hawthorne. The issue was monumental, not just for the story, but for its marketing. It was billed as the largest gathering of Marvel characters ever depicted in a single issue. The cover alone featured Deadpool surrounded by dozens of heroes, a nod to the famous wedding issues of Spider-Man and Superman. Deadpool's wedding was a major event for Marvel. Articles from outlets like the New York Times and USA Today covers the issue, highlighting its unique record-breaking status and the weird twist of Deadpool marrying a demon queen. Fans were nonetheless intrigued. How would marriage change one of Marvel's most chaotic characters? This character, in recent years had also been thought of as just a slapstick humor guy. In many ways, Deadpool's wedding was Marvel's attempt to capture the magic of earlier superhero weddings. Spider-Man's marriage to Mary Jane in Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 21 was a massive cultural moment, complete with media coverage and even a live-action wedding at the Shea Stadium. Similarly, Superman's marriage to Lois Lane in Superman the Wedding Album was a culmination of decades of storytelling. But where those weddings symbolize milestones of growth for the biggest characters, Deadpool's wedding felt deliberately absurd. A reflection of maybe his chaotic nature. Despite the fanfare, Deadpool and Shiklah's marriage quickly faded into the background. While the pair initially shared adventures, the relationship began to deteriorate over time. Shiklah's disdain for humanity and Deadpool's inability to fully commit to her world caused a rift between the two. By the time Deadpool Till Death Do Us came out in 2017, their marriage was effectively over, with Shiklah waging war on humanity and ultimately returning to her demonic realm. This quick dissolution left many fans wondering, was Deadpool's wedding just a gimmick? Unlike Spider-Man or Superman's marriages, which had years of narrative weight behind them, Deadpool's marriage felt more like a footnote in his chaotic history. Today, it's rarely mentioned. A far cry from the monumental event it was marketed as. So why do so many readers consider Deadpool's wedding to be a failure? One reason is the lack of lasting impact. While Spider-Man's marriage to Mary Jane and Superman's union with Lois had profound effects on their stories, Deadpool's marriage to Shiklah felt like a brief detour. Readers struggled to connect with Shiklah as a character, with some arguing that her sudden introduction and quick departure made her feel like a gimmick rather than a meaningful partner. Another critique is that the marriage didn't fundamentally change Deadpool. Fans hoped that maybe they might get to see a new side of him, a deeper exploration of his character through this unexpected union. Deadpool for years had struggled with depression and overcoming his looks, and now he was finally getting married and found someone who seemed to love him. This seemed like a great way to kind of reintroduce depth into Deadpool's character that had been lost as he slowly became a caricature of himself. Instead, the marriage felt like just another zany Deadpool story, with little effort to show how it affected him emotionally or personally. But what if the wedding wasn't meant to succeed? Deadpool has a history of breaking the fourth wall and making meta commentary on Marvel's editorial choices. In Deadpool Annual number 1, he famously mocks Spider-Man's erased marriage, referencing the controversial One More Day storyline that undid Peter Parker and Mary Jane's relationship. Could Deadpool's wedding to Shikla have been a similar commentary? Think about it. Deadpool's marriage was marketed as a massive event, much like Spider-Man's wedding to MJ. But unlike Peter and MJ's relationship, which was erased due to editorial mandates, Deadpool's marriage was chaotic, impermanent, and ultimately inconsequential. Perhaps this was the point. A tongue-in-cheek commentary on the futility of trying to create lasting milestones in superhero comics. Or a commentary on how exactly editorial will always interfere and return a character to the status quo. At the same time all this was going on, this period in Deadpool's history marks a shift in how he was portrayed. In the Joe Kelly era, Deadpool was a layered anti-hero, grappling with his morality and his inner demons. By the time of his marriage to Shikla, he had become more of a comedic figure, with stories leaning heavily into absurdity. While this made him more popular, some fans argue it diminished his depth. Later writers like Jerry Duggan would attempt to bring back some of that depth, exploring Deadpool's loneliness and his desire for connection. Some might say that Duggan, who actually wrote this marriage issue, kind of got this, and that Deadpool's marriage to Shikla was a sort of way to be a symbol of the tension between these two versions of the character, the tragic anti-hero and the comedic chaos agent. So was Deadpool's wedding a failure? If we measure it by lasting impact or emotional resonance, it's easy to see why fans feel that way. But if we look at it through the lens of a meta commentary, a parody of superhero weddings and their tendency to be erased or downplayed, it starts to feel more intentional. In true Deadpool fashion, perhaps the wedding was never meant to last. After all, nothing in Deadpool's world ever really does. But what do you think? Was Deadpool's wedding to Shikla a missed opportunity or a brilliant piece of meta commentary? Let us know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.